Ever wondered how to start planning a multi-platform application? Hello and welcome everyone. If you are looking for fresh and exciting content that will inspire and entertain you, you have come to the right place. Remember to subscribe and activate the bell to receive notifications of our adventures together. Well, you're in for a treat today. Multi-platform applications are software or apps that run on multiple operating systems or devices, such as iOS, Android, Windows, and more. The beauty of these applications is their reach. They can connect with users wherever they are, on whatever device they prefer. Planning such an application is no small task, but it's essential. The planning stage lays the foundation for everything that follows, from design to development, testing to deployment. It's where you define your goals, understand your users, choose your platforms, and map out your development process. In this video, we're going to walk you through the step-by-step process of planning a multi-platform application. We'll cover everything from understanding your target audience to defining the purpose of the application, choosing the platforms, designing the user interface, and planning the development process. Now that we understand the basics, let's move on to the first step in planning a multi-platform application. The first step in planning a multi-platform application is understanding your target audience. It's like setting out on a journey. You wouldn't start driving without knowing your destination, right? The same principle applies here. The target audience is your North Star. It guides every decision you make, from the design and functionality of the application to the choice of platform. But how do you get to know your audience? It involves digging deep into their needs, preferences, and behaviors. Think about what problems your application can solve for them. Are they tech savvy, or do they prefer simplicity and ease of use? Do they primarily use smartphones, or are tablets and desktops more their speed? These insights will help you tailor your application to their specific needs, ensuring it resonates and provides value. Once we have a clear understanding of our audience, we can move on to the next step, defining the purpose of the application. The next step in planning is defining the purpose of your application. This is like your North Star, guiding each decision you make, from design to functionality. It's the answer to the question, what problem does this app solve? This purpose must be clear, concise, and most importantly, it should align with the needs of your target audience, identified in the previous step. For instance, if your target audience needs a quick and easy way to order groceries, the purpose of your app could be to simplify online grocery shopping. This purpose then informs the design: simple, user-friendly, and functionality, quick checkout, saved shopping lists. The purpose isn't just a guide for you, the creator. It's also a promise to your users, a promise that your app will meet their needs and solve their problems. With the purpose defined, we can now proceed to the next step, choosing the platforms. The third step in our planning process is choosing the platforms for the application. This choice is crucial and depends heavily on both the target audience and the purpose of the application. Let's consider the big three: Android, iOS, and web. Android's open source nature provides flexibility, but it also means a fragmented user base with a variety of devices and operating system versions. iOS, on the other hand, offers a more standardized and secure environment, but its exclusivity can limit reach. The web is a universal platform, accessible from any device with a browser. However, web apps might not provide the same level of performance or integration with device hardware as native apps do. By the other hand, we have the following great option for your development. NetMaui is a modern, open source framework for building native cross-platform applications. It allows developers to create apps that run on Android, iOS, macOS, and Windows using a single codebase. Embarcadero Delphi and C++ Builder are powerful development tools for building multi-platform applications. They have a long history and are widely used by developers. You can target Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, and even Linux. It uses the FireMonkey framework, which provides native-like UI controls and animations. There are several other cross-platform development tools and the frameworks that allow you to build applications for multiple platforms using a single code base. Here are some notable ones: Flutter, mobile, web, and desktop; React Native, native mobile apps using JavaScript and React; Kotlin, Android and iOS; Ionic, hybrid apps; Xamarin, native apps using C and .NET; NativeScript, Android and iOS apps using JavaScript or TypeScript. Each platform carries its unique pros and cons, and the decision should be based on where your target audience resides and how they're likely to use your application. Once we've chosen the platforms, the next step is designing the user interface. The fourth step in planning a multi-platform application is designing the user interface. Designing a user interface is akin to creating a roadmap for your users. An intuitive and user-friendly interface is not just about aesthetics. It's about making sure your users can navigate your app with ease. The aim is to create an experience that feels natural and intuitive, minimizing the learning curve for your users. The design should be consistent across all platforms. This means that whether you're designing for a mobile device, a tablet, or a desktop, your users should have a similar experience. This doesn't mean that every platform should look identical. Rather, they should feel familiar. Each platform has its unique characteristics, and these should be taken into consideration during the design process. Now, how do we bring this design to life? Well, we use wireframes and prototypes. Wireframes are like the skeleton of your design. They provide a basic visual guide of your app layout without any design elements. On the other hand, prototypes are a more detailed representation of your final product. They allow you to test the functionality of your app and make necessary adjustments before moving into the development phase. Remember, the user interface is not just about how your app looks, but also how it works. It's about creating a seamless experience for your users, one that makes them want to come back for more. With a well-designed user interface, we are now ready for the final step, planning the development process. The final step in planning a multi-platform application is planning the development process. Now, this is where the software development life cycle, or SDLC, comes into play. The SDLC is essentially a series of steps that guide you through the process of developing software from the initial concept to the final product. The first stage in the SDLC is gathering requirements. This involves understanding what your application needs to do and the features it must have to meet these needs. It's all about asking the right questions and making sure you have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve. Next, we move on to designing. This is where you'll take the requirements you've gathered and start to sketch out how your application will look and function. It's a critical stage as it lays the groundwork for the next steps. Once you're happy with the design, it's time to dive into coding. This is the stage where your application starts to come to life as you write the software that will make it function. After coding, it's time to test. Testing is crucial to ensure that your application functions as expected and that any bugs or issues are identified and fixed. The final stages are deployment and maintenance. Deployment is when your application is made available to users. while maintenance involves ongoing work to ensure your application continues to function correctly and meet users' needs. And that concludes our step-by-step guide on planning a multi-platform application. Remember, thorough planning is the key to a successful application. Let's quickly recap the key points we've discussed today. When planning a multi-platform application, start by understanding your target audience. Next, clearly define the purpose of your application. Choose the platforms that best suit your objectives. Design the user interface with user experience in mind. Finally, plan your development process, utilizing the software development lifecycle, or SDLC, as your guide. These steps will set you on the path to success. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more informative videos on app development. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. If you want to continue being part of this incredible community, subscribe and turn on notifications. This way, you will be the first to see our new content. Until next time, and thanks for being here.